To capture genuinely stunning and otherworldly photos, you must try night photography using long exposure. Most significant for this technique is a dependable tripod that will keep your camera still during the entire shot, and a DSLR or mirrorless camera equipped with long exposure settings. How's it going, y'all? Raph here, and with these tools in tow, you can create memorable images of the night sky like never before. Long exposure photography tips. Number 1. Use a tripod. Number 2. Set your camera to manual mode. Number 3. Choose an ISO setting between 100 to 400 for best results. Number 4. Set your shutter speed to bulb mode so that it stays open as long as you want it to. Some cameras will have a T setting which works the same way. Number 5. Use an ND filter for daytime long exposure photography. And number 6. Find a scene with motion, like a moving river, waterfall, or clouds grazing the sky. How to take long exposures. Once you've set your camera and chosen all the settings, it's time to start shooting. Start off with short exposures, right around 1 second or so, and work up from there until you get the desired effect in your photo. 2 to 4 seconds is usually good for star trails. If you're shooting a landscape or other static scene at night, try using longer exposures, all the way up to 30 seconds for more dramatic effects. Be sure to not overexpose your shot. Use a low ISO if necessary and adjust other settings accordingly if needed. Choosing a ferris wheel as your subject. To capture the beauty of a ferris wheel illuminated in the night sky, move up close and utilize a wide-angle lens to acquire all the details. Once your composition is set, mount your camera securely on a tripod and frame your shot perfectly. To ensure every detail of your photo is sharp, select a small aperture between f11 to f32. Whether you use manual or shutter priority mode, set the shutter speed accordingly to how fast the ferris wheel moves and what style you're aiming for, anywhere from 1 to 30 seconds. To maintain the highest level of clarity, use your camera's self-timer or cable release for this image. Doing so will prevent any jostling and bumps that could blur the shot and increase the number of light trails visible against the dark sky. The center spokes will remain crisp and in focus despite those around them being blurry from movement. Try your hand at star trails. On a star-spangled night, long exposures can create stunning and ethereal light trails as stars drift across the sky, illuminated by the Earth's rotation. To create the perfect image, find exciting elements, such as a gnarled tree, to add interest in the foreground. For maximum clarity and sharpness, mount your camera on a tripod and adjust focus to infinity. To avoid any chance of distortion due to the camera shaking when you click the shutter button, be sure to use a shutter release cable. You'd be quite surprised, a single moment of vibration can destroy your photo. For the most significant results, set your camera to bulb mode and select an aperture between f2.8 to f4. To begin the exposure, press the remote control release button. For limited digital noise, ensure that you have your ISO at around 100. After 15 minutes to several hours have passed, based off of what you want in your photograph, push on the remote once again and close off the shutter. And voila! If you had set your exposure proper, all the time and hard work should lead you to an amazing star trail shot. All good things come to those who wait. Capturing stunning light trails. Illuminate your photography with the stunning effect of traffic light trails. You'll be amazed at how quickly you can become comfortable working with long exposure simply by shooting these beautiful streaks. To capture the hustle and bustle of evening traffic, choose a road to set up your camera. Secure it on a reliable tripod with an aperture size setting at f16 or lower for increased depth of field so that most elements in the frame stay sharp. Prolonged exposure leads to the emergence of longer and more distant lines. How to determine your exposure. When shooting at night, the exposure of your image is contingent upon multiple different aspects. In a brightly lit setting, reduce the shutter speed to decrease how much light enters through the lens. On the other hand, if it's particularly dark outside, leave your shutter open for longer so that more light can enter. This will also extend the exposure time. To adequately capture the luminance of light trails, you must utilize a shutter speed of no less than 1/15 of a second and a tripod. Of course, the more you hone your craft, the better aptitude you'll develop for attaining a desired impact from various exposures. Now here are some of the settings that we recommend. The most crucial factor when determining optimal exposure is preserving both the shadows and highlights of your image. When taking long exposure with your camera shutter, you must be careful not to overexpose. If so, all the details of your lit subject will be lost, and even its identity might become unrecognizable. Get it right though, and you'll have something truly remarkable that deserves compliments galore. Starting with light trails, select the shutter priority mode on your camera with an initial 1 second setting to capture the lighting effect desired. If this isn't long enough for your vision, incrementally add 2 seconds until it's perfect. Thanks to digital photography technology today, you'll know immediately if you've gone too far, as there'll be more blurring than expected, in which case dial back down by 1 full second and adjust from there. For the most breathtaking nighttime photography, a dependable tripod is essential to accompany your digital camera. This will provide stability and support for your device, avoiding blurry images in your pictures. With repetition and an understanding of necessary lighting parameters, you can become a master at taking long exposure images at night. Your shutter speed could range from 1/60th to multiple minutes depending on what is available. What makes these types of photos so unique is that each one will be distinct due to the unpredictable light trail movements. With practice, your collection of pictures will possess authenticity like no other. And hopefully with this guide, you're now that much more enlightened at the art of long exposure. If you do find yourself a bit more enlightened, a simple like and subscribe helps us out plenty. Of course, let us know what you'd like for us to cover next in the comments section down below. And of course, I'm Raph from BNC Camera. Hope to see you in the next one.